Yo, what's up, guys? Back to another episode of Sports Action with Jackson, aka Clutch Covered Sports. I'm here with co-host Braden, of course. Thank you to StreamYard for powering another podcast for us. So let's roll right into it. Um, let's go to the recap of last week. Arkansas swept UT. Braden, thoughts on that series, on how Arkansas played? Thought it was a well-needed series win, especially losing three series prior to that. Way to get out of a slump by Arkansas, especially doing so against number one UT.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a series that you don't think is going to be swept either way, especially kind of the end of the year with the SEC baseball. So it's very, I mean, it's surprising to see Arkansas sweep them, but I've said I like Texas's pitching, but um, their bats kind of seem to struggle at times, and I know they put up some big runs in these games against Arkansas, but Arkansas just looked like the better team, and the Aloy brothers are just kind of unstoppable right now. Um, so yeah, it was a good series for Arkansas to kind of get back on track after losing to A&M and haven't been as good lately. Dropped to 11 in the rankings, and then Texas. I wouldn't worry if I was Texas. They're still going to be a double host. Um, but yeah, it was a good series for the Razorbacks.
Well, honestly, what shocked me is UT still number one, but I guess because there were so many games in front of, I think there were like 3 or 4 games in front of number two, which was LSU. They stayed up there. Arkansas obviously moved to 7. And what really stood out to me this weekend was the pitching for Arkansas. I feel like Zach Root, he had his career high, 11 strikeouts in 8 innings. Honestly, he could have went 9. He could have thrown a complete game, but Coach DVH took him out. And then game 2, Gage Wood had a great game as well. I mean, the pitchers are starting to really play for Arkansas, and it couldn't come at a better time. So Arkansas really got the bats hot and just dominated UT. Like I guess game 3 was kind of back and forth, but like, man, Arkansas really controlled that series pretty much from game 1, first pitch, all the way to that final out in game 3. Moving on. This is kind of a bitter subject between us. A&M unfortunately beat my Tigers. I look, man. I'll say my piece, but what do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good series. Just being a baseball fan, um, I will say, umpires in the SEC have been pretty rough lately, and I know 2 of those games um, really could have gone either way with different umpires. LSU could have picked up the first game, and then A&M could have picked up the second game. Um, so it's just, I mean, it's kind of tough to see some big crucial calls get blown by umps, but from a baseball standpoint, it was a great series. Both teams look great, and you think LSU is going to win the series, and then Sorrell hits a big 3-run homer to kind of take back over for A&M. So it's just both of these teams I'm looking forward to seeing in the playoffs, and I hope they both make it to Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like you said, the series really could have went either way. It kind of reminded me of the UT LSU series earlier on. I mean, Cowan, if he didn't hang that curveball on Sorrell, that could have been a strikeout. We don't know what could have happened. You get Sorrell out right there, and or even the play before, we had a little bit of an error. I mean, you get that out right there. The play before, that's a completely different. That could be the ball game. You know what I mean? But obviously, it didn't. The way the ball was, rolling, all that, LSU couldn't get it done. A&M well needed series win. LSU's bats, man, they kind of went dead this weekend. It was I wasn't happy to see that. I'm hoping those bats get ready for Arkansas. Moving on, Auburn beat Tennessee on the road. I was pretty shocked to see this, honestly. I would even deem it the upset of the week because A&M LSU, you kind of had that feeling like it could happen. I mean, last year LSU did the same exact thing to A&M. I mean, it's a rivalry game. Those two teams are going to bring their A game. But Auburn beating Tennessee, I mean, you want to talk about the season those guys are having. Ike Irish and all that whole lineup are really just hitting the ball well. And they did it again this weekend against Tennessee. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Tennessee has struggled recently. They've lost their last 3 series. They lost 2-1 against Kentucky at home. And then they lose, obviously, to LSU, another 2-1 series. And then they go back home and lose 2-1 to Auburn. So it's just a struggle bus right now for Tennessee, which I didn't expect. I thought they were clear-cut the best team a month ago. So, and they do still have the best odds to win the College World Series, which I do think they are the best team roster-wise. But they just haven't been able to put it together lately. And, yeah, that was very surprising to me. But Auburn's a good baseball club. You can't knock them.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think that just shows how baseball is, man. It's so streaky. It's like A&M, for instance. I mean, preseason #1, they drop out like that, just didn't have a great start, and now they're really starting to put it together. They beat Arkansas on the road and then beat LSU at home, 2 big-time ball clubs that they beat. And UT, they lost the whole series by 3 runs. Every game was decided by 1 run. I mean, they could have won that series too. I mean, it was a tough, you know what I mean? A&M's playing good baseball right now. So Tennessee, I'm not really worried about them. I think they'll get it started. I think Vitello, he'll get those boys rolling when it comes tourney time. But yeah, you're right. Tennessee's really not playing good baseball right now. FSU, Florida State, they beat Clemson this weekend. I was actually pretty shocked to see that. I honestly, I mean, you know me, I'm a UNC guy out of the ACC. I think North Carolina's the best team. But, I mean, honestly, Clemson, other than – I mean, really all those top 4 teams in the ACC could make an argument for it. But I was very surprised to see Florida State beat Clemson. I mean, I really did think Clemson was going to win that series. But Lotus had a great series. I mean, that team is just – I mean, Florida State's no joke. And they looked really good against Clemson this weekend. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Florida State. I think they've dropped some games they shouldn't have. I think they're better of a team than Louisville, and they lose that series. But a huge bounce back. And I believe that that third game was run rule. It's like 20 to something, 20 to 8, 20 to 9, something like that. So Florida State can sure hit the ball. It'll be interesting to see, this week they get a pretty easy matchup at Cal, but then they go to your boys in UNC to wrap up ACC play. So it'll be interesting to see how they close out the year.
Moving on now, we got Miami beating NC State. First off, Miami is really starting to put themselves a really nice resume going into this tournament, and they're going to be a very tough 2 seed for whoever gets them. They've won several big-time series. They beat Georgia Tech when Georgia Tech was hot. I know Georgia Tech has kind of fallen off, but I know you've never been high on Georgia Tech, but I have. I mean, man, I saw a projection the other day that had Miami and LSU's regional, and I was like, man, I don't want Miami. Miami's playing big-time baseball. They just beat NC State, NC State, by the way, is a top 20 team in the country. You know what I mean? I mean, before that, I think they were top 15 before they lost to Miami. Big-time series win for Miami. I know that third game got canceled, but they've won the first 2, so maybe they could have even swept. We don't know. So props to Miami. What's your thoughts on what Miami or I guess NC State?
Yeah, Miami I have not been very high on. I have only watched a couple of games of theirs. One of them being to Stetson, who they got killed by. So, I haven't been a big fan of them. And then I watched them play Florida Atlantic in a midweek game, and they barely won that. So I haven't been too high on Miami, but yes, they have been hot as of late. NC State's a team that has kind of flown under the radar for me because I don't see them being posted a lot. I don't see them high in the standings, but then I go look at them, they're 31-15. So, both those teams are probably going to make it into the postseason. And Miami has been hot as of late, and NC State looks like they've kind of cooled off. So it'll be interesting to see how those teams in their year, NC State gets UNC in a rivalry this week.
All right. So moving on to the games this week, we've got South Carolina playing Auburn. Who do you think takes this series?
Yeah, it's clear that Auburn's going to win the series. I think Auburn wins in 3 games. South Carolina, they're right up. I mean, they're not right up there with Missouri because there's a huge gap. in those teams, but South Carolina is pretty bad at baseball. So I'm just going to go ahead and take Auburn. They've looked pretty well, 3-0.
Yeah, I'm going to take Auburn too. And it sucks saying South Carolina's not great at baseball because they really haven't been. I mean, they've got ball players, man. Ethan Petrie is a really good baseball player. And, I mean, Paul Maneri, when he was at LSU, was a great coach at LSU. South Carolina, it almost makes you think maybe they shouldn't have fired their coach last year. I don't know, man. Auburn's going to win this series. I think they sweep. But I was kind of disappointed because I feel like South Carolina started off well this season. I know we were not necessarily high on them, but we weren't low on them. You know, I thought they were going to be a middle of the pack SEC team. But at the same time, like, if you put South Carolina in another conference, are they doing as bad as they've done? You know what I mean? I don't think they're as bad as their record shows. They're certainly not. They certainly don't need to be in the same conversation as Missouri, which I'm not saying people are having that conversation, but they're not to say they're a bad team. I wouldn't say they're a bad team. I just don't think they're as good as the SEC is because the SEC this year is really good, like really good, top to bottom. Well, not bottom because Missouri is by far the worst team out of any Power 5 school. But yeah, I'm with you there. I think Auburn's going to sweep. Moving on. We got number 11 Vandy versus number 15 Tennessee. This is very interesting because both programs are playing very differently. Vanderbilt's kind of gotten hot lately, and Tennessee's the opposite. Who do you think takes this?
Yeah, I think Tennessee has a crazy bounce back here. I think they actually sweep. Been high on Vanderbilt, but Tennessee, like, they have to. I mean, I'm not saying they have to, but if they lose the series, they're getting out of contention of hosting, and a sweep here kind of solidifies themselves as a host, I think, and gets them back on track. So I think they get the sweep done against Vanderbilt. I know it's a in-state kind of rivalry matchup for the SEC here, but I'm going to take Tennessee 3-0.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't know if Tennessee sweeps, but I think they definitely win the series. And not discrediting, Vanderbilt. I haven't been the highest on them. I mean, they are a good baseball team, I'll admit it. But, I've never been huge on Vanderbilt. But I will say, 3 series in a row. If you drop this series, you're going on the road to Arkansas, who just swept the number 1 team in the country and has potential to beat the number 3 team in the country this weekend at LSU. I'll make my prediction whenever we come to that game, but Arkansas is not really a team you want to play right now. And I'm not saying Vanderbilt is, but I feel like you kind of, like you said, you kind of have to because you can't afford to drop 5 series in a row going into the postseason. You will not host.
Yeah.
No way they'll host if they lose these next 2 series. So I feel like what you said, I think it's a kind of a must win. And especially, if they want to get back in top 8 territory, they gotta sweep this weekend and they gotta take 2 out of 3 at Arkansas. But yeah, I'm with you there. I think Tennessee wins 2 out of 3. I think they could sweep, but I'm going to show Vanderbilt a little bit of respect here. And I'm going to say they're going to go ahead and win 2 out of 3. Moving on. This is kind of an interesting one for me. We got number 17 Oklahoma versus Kentucky. Who do you got?
Yeah, I don't want to just ride the sweeps all week, but I think Kentucky can actually sweep Oklahoma. I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to pick Kentucky 2-1. But I'm not big on Oklahoma, and I think Kentucky's, they've kind of flown under the radar a little bit, but they're also still a good ball club. They're 10-14. Oklahoma's 13-11 in SC play, so not a huge jump from that. But I think Kentucky gets the win here for the series, so I'm going to take them 2-1 at home against OU.
Yeah, I completely disagree. I think Oklahoma is going to win this series. I think they win 2 out of 3. I think they do drop a game because Kentucky's no joke. But man, Oklahoma's pitching staff is really good. Kyson Witherspoon is by far a top 5 pitcher in baseball. So I think they take that first game. They took the first game against Georgia a couple weeks ago. They did end up dropping that series, if I'm not mistaken. But I think they're a better team than people give them credit for. And I think their pitching is what's going to carry them above Kentucky this weekend. But at the same time, the style of play Kentucky plays, they play that kind of baseball that, really they could beat anybody in the country. if they, I mean, they bunt and steal. It's what they do, you know. Um, I still think Oklahoma wins this series, but yeah, I think they're 100% is an argument you can make for Kentucky, and I think it'll be a very interesting series to watch, and I think it'll be a very low-scoring series as well. Oklahoma just doesn't have very good bats, so I think that's what could ultimately hurt them this weekend. But I'm going to trust the arms of Kyson and the rest of that bullpen. So give me the Sooners, 2 out of 3. Moving on, we got number 6, Georgia versus number 23, Alabama. And Alabama desperately needs this series, but, I mean, Bama's going to be a tournament team. But, I mean, if they want to make a case for hosting, they got to win this weekend. Who do you think wins this series?
I'm gonna go with the Tide 2-1. They're a good ball club. I think they get behind the bats of Snell and Justin LeBron, my guy. So I think Bama takes the series, but Georgia's definitely a good baseball team. I know they're ranked number 6. But SEC is really just an anybody can win matchup in the series because both teams are very good. And I mean, these are two teams that definitely could make it to Omaha. Georgia, I guess number 6, you're supposed to, but Alabama is a very talented team, and I think they're right up there with Georgia. I think the teams are pretty similar, and so I'll take the home team here with Bama, 2-1.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you on Alabama being a very talented team, and I like their. I mean, I know we used to talk about how highly of their pitching staff, but it's been a 180. Their pitching hasn't been great, and that's what's lost them games. I mean, Riley Quick, in my opinion, is a very good pitcher, but outside of him, man, like Zane Adams and some of those other guys really just haven't pulled their own weight, and that's really hurt Bama. And they're going to be playing a Georgia team that hits the ball really well. So, with that being said, give me the Bulldogs. Give me the Bulldogs. They're the number 6 team in the country for a reason. I think they win 2 out of 3. I love Bama, like this baseball team. I think they're a great team, but man, they're gonna have to play some defense if they want to have a chance in this. I'm not discrediting LeBron. I think he's one of the best players in the country, but yeah, I think the Bulldogs I just think they flat out hit Bama, and Bama can hit the ball really well too. But man, I don't know. I think Georgia's the upper hand here. So give me the Bulldogs, 2 out of 3. Moving on, Missouri and A&M. I mean, man, I really don't think I mean, I want to hear your thoughts, obviously, because you are an A&M fan. Anything could happen, but man, I don't think it's going to be close this weekend. I think A&M is just going to blow Missouri out of the ballpark this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some stats in Missouri. I know they're bad, but I did not realize they were this bad. They're last in batting average, last in on base, most in strikeouts, the worst fielding percentage. They are dead last in every statistical category that means anything in the SEC. So, I mean, on paper, A&M should win every game by 5 to 6 runs or more. But it could happen. Missouri, they got to win one. I feel like they got to win one at some point. It's baseball. But A&M is definitely a team that they've beat LSU, Arkansas, and Tennessee in series. But then they've lost some bad games. They lost to Texas State midweek. They've lost games behind Prager. I think they almost lost South Carolina, but they had like an 8-run comeback in the 9th. So they're a team that is, prone to losing a game like this. I think they're the much better team, so I'll take A&M 3-0. But it honestly wouldn't surprise me if Missouri did win a game because there's so much pressure on A&M to get the sweep. Most people have already wrote them in 3-0, and a loss here could. I think they're in the field right now pretty safely, but I think a loss to Missouri, just even one, would put them back on the bubble.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I'm not really too concerned for A&M in this series, man. I think A&M's gonna go in there and just, they don't even have to play great baseball, man. They could play. Their bats could be dead like they were this weekend against LSU. I mean, they could not really do anything and win this series, man. I mean, Missouri they've almost had a couple wins here and there. I mean, they almost beat Bama, a couple weeks ago. They almost beat LSU at the beginning of the season. Like, lost by like a run. But point is, they didn't get the job done. And I don't think it – I mean, obviously, like you said, anything can happen. It could just be not y'all's day. But, man, you guys are playing for something. Missouri's not. They're already defeated. I don't think they really care if they win that game or not at this point, dude. They've lost every game, and the whole country really is – they have nothing to play for. Unless they somehow got in the SEC tournament and won the SEC tournament, there's no way they could even make the tournament. So, like, they're kind of a defeated team. It's like beating a dead horse right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think – I don't know. I just don't see a world where they win. But like you said, it is baseball. Anything can happen. And that would be a very Aggie thing to do. But, yeah, I think A&M's going to sweep. And I don't think it'll be much of a question. Now, moving on. We got our game of the week. Number 7, Arkansas going to the box. Number 3, LSU. Who do you got taking this series?
This is going to be fun to watch. Every game will be a good one. Both teams, they're both Arkansas's 1, LSU's 2 in batting statistics for the SEC. So it's going to be a fun watch. See if LSU can get the bats re-going against Arkansas, because they were not very good against Texas A&M. Besides Jones, I like that guy. Jones is probably my favorite player.
Jared Jones is a beast.
From LSU. Maybe Michael Braswell, though. I like his defense at third. But, yeah, I'm going to take LSU 2-1 here on the road. No, at home. That's right, at home. I'm going to take them 2-1. I like LSU. If I wasn't an A&M fan and I just watched baseball, I think LSU would be the team I liked. Them in Tennessee, I know it's like popular picks, but they're both fun watches. And yeah, I think LSU is going to get the job done. Not that they really need to get the job done, but it would be big. Maybe solidify themselves as a double host. We'll see. I got LSU 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, man, this right here is this one hits home for me. Got ties to both schools, and I could see a world where either team wins. Honestly, I mean, dude. Arkansas, the way they played this weekend, if they played like that from here on out, I don't think there's a team that can beat them. I think they can win the championship. What they showed me this weekend and what they did against Vanderbilt, I mean, they've whenever they're high, man, they are hard to beat. But then you have them when they lose to A&M and just don't. I mean, A&M could have swept that series. Arkansas really just didn't do much. But man, the way Gage Wood and Zach Root pitched this weekend scares me. It does. Honestly, scares me. If LSU cannot hit the ball, it will be a very rough weekend. But with that being said, I think we get the bats hot. And I think Cade Anderson, if he can prevent the long ball, if he can, hold them off from hitting some home runs, I think LSU could win this series and make themselves a double host. I mean, it's important for both teams because, they're both playing to be a double host. And Arkansas is more on the bubble of that double host than LSU is, but at the same time, LSU can't really afford to lose another series. That would be 4 series losses in the SEC. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you want to kind of get to the 19-20 win range in the SEC, right? So I'm hoping here, and I think LSU is going to take it 2 out of 3. But, I mean, they're 4 games away. And Arkansas's 3 games away. So, Arkansas's got more of a tougher route here. LSU's got South Carolina after. I mean, let's talk about this. That Texas series win for Arkansas was so important because you would have been dropped 4 series in a row, going to Baton Rouge, kind of with your tail tucked in between your legs, oh, crap. But because they swept our Texas, that is so big for them. And that's really what – I don't know what's going to happen this weekend, honestly. I was saying LSU, but now I'm leaning more towards Arkansas. I really don't know. Both teams are so evenly matched. I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, I know they were about a couple weeks ago. They're both top 10 in the country in pitching. I could be wrong about that. And they're both obviously the top 2 teams in the SEC hitting. On paper, this is top to bottom a very evenly matched baseball game. I just think it depends on which team on both sides shows up. Are we going to get the Arkansas team that lost to Florida, or are we going to get the Arkansas team that swept Texas? Same thing as LSU. Like, are we going to get the LSU team that got swept by Auburn, or are we going to get the LSU team that came into Norman, Oklahoma, and put BTA all weekend? You know, I'm not saying that was a quality win, but LSU really is looked really good, but they've also had some moments where they haven't looked great. So, man, I'm going to go with LSU here, 2 out of 3, just because they're the home team. But, dude, I think anything can happen in this series. But I will say I think LSU wins Friday night with Cade Anderson on the mound. Saturday, I think, is a toss-up. And Sunday, also a toss-up. I mean, all 3 games are, but I'm going to trust Cade Anderson on Friday. He's won this games. I mean, the A&M loss wasn't his fault. You know, that was we put in Cowan, who didn't pitch great for the first time all season. And Derek Curriel also, I don't think, had a hit all weekend. That's been our leadoff guy. I mean, if Derek Curriel can start hitting, I mean, the bottom half of our order looked great with Milam, Hernandez, you know, Braswell, Stanfield. If we can get Dickinson and Jared Jones and Derek Curriel rolling, man, this is going to be – LSU's going to be tough to beat. So give me the Tigers 2 out of 3. I know I kind of rambled right there, but, man, this weekend I'm going to be on the couch or wherever I am watching that game, and I'm going to be locked in. Phone on D&D and everything.
I think real quick to point on LSU, I think Fry and Jones obviously look good hitting this week.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if they stay hot and you get a couple of those guys from the middle of the lineup that can start, you know, hitting a little bit better, then I think you're kind of stress-free against Arkansas. Not as in like not stress-free, but I think you have a much better chance to win. I think Cade Anderson definitely deals this week. But, yeah, I think LSU's locked if those guys in the middle of the order can get the bats going.
And another thing that Jay Johnson did that I really didn't like is he had Jared Jones leading off this weekend. And no discredit to Jared Jones. That's my guy. That's the heart and soul of this baseball team. But I think he needs to be at cleanup. And that's when I feel like he's done the best is at cleanup. I mean, he didn't have a bad weekend this weekend. But, man, whenever he's at cleanup, you know, you put either Curriel, who I think should be our leadoff. He didn't have a great weekend this weekend. But that guy, mark my words, Derek Curriel is going to go down as one of the greatest to do it in an LSU uniform. And I truly mean that. I'm not lying. You can laugh. Dude, Derek Curriel honestly looks better than Dylan Cruz did his freshman year.
Yeah, there's no way.
Derek Curriel,
he looks like a good player, but there was times this week where Coach had him bunting to try to just get something going.
Well, that's what – because he had a bad weekend. Every baseball player has a bad weekend.
I know, but, dude, a star like I mean, I don't know. I would never have – if he's really your best hitter and if he's really this top-of-the-line guy, I've never pushed bunt to second base, and he was out by 5 steps. I don't know why they tried to –
Look, that wasn't necessarily on him, though. I mean, that's a coaching decision.
I know, but I'm saying if you had a guy like Dylan Cruz, he's not doing that. Dylan Cruz is not bunting.
Dylan Cruz bunted some, though. Like, man. In
situations, he's not bunting nobody on with
look,
one
I would
out.
say Dylan Cruz had more pop in his bat his freshman year than Curriel did. But, you know, Curriel was going to be a top 10 pick in the first round, and he chose to go to LSU. I mean, this guy is legit, and he's been batting from like 370 to like the lower 400s all year until about this week. And I'm sure his average took a little bit of a dip. But, man, that kid is legit. And I really do think he's going to be a top 10, if not top 5 LSU baseball player all time. I mean, dude, he is so pure. So pure. And you know what? You could argue, and only time will tell. But, man, as a freshman, he has been that go-to guy to get on base. And it's almost like, dude, there was a point in the season where it was like you didn't even need to watch his at-bat. You knew he was going to get on base somehow. I mean, this guy had a bad weekend. I think he'll get it together for Arkansas. I mean, man, dude, he's so good. He's so good. But to answer your thing about Fry, I don't know how much Fry's going to play this weekend because we really played Fry a lot because you guys have a bunch of left-handed pitchers, and he hits really well against left-handed pitchers. I don't think Root, if I'm not mistaken, I think Root is a righty, but I could be wrong. But I think we'll see Fry some just because he is a hotter bat. But the reason he played so much this weekend was because it was against, you know, the left-handed pitchers you guys have. And he was one of our brighter spots in that lineup this weekend. But I think we can get our top half rolling. I think you should move Jared Jones back down to clean up. And I think LSU should be fine. And you need Derek Carriel to hit. You cannot have him go in a slump 2 weekends in a row. I don't think we win if Derek Carriel can't get on base.
Yeah, you think Josh Pearson plays a little more? Because I know he's playing against lefty. He didn't play one of the games. The other Pearson, I don't know his brother's name, was playing.
John Pearson did, yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought it was interesting to see that. I mean, I don't know crazy LSU ball like that, but do you think Josh Pearson just wasn't playing that game due to lefty or what?
Yeah, well, because he would probably either play in the outfield or he'd pinch hit, right? And we had Fry kind of in that pinch hitting or designated hitter position, right? Yeah. I think we do see Pearson this weekend, especially because it's a big time matchup, man. And Pearson really, what I've noticed about him, he doesn't have the greatest batting average in the world. That's why he was on our championship team. He was a freshman when Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan and them were freshmen. Like, he's old. But I will say the one thing about Pearson is when it comes to big games and big moments, that is the one guy you want up at the plate. And I think he does play this weekend. And I think Jay knows that. He's got to play him. Maybe not on defense, but, he's been great on defense too. The problem is we have so many bats in this lineup that, like, Jay's got to figure out what lineup he wants to go in. Like, putting in John Pearson, I didn't hate it, but the kid's a freshman. You're playing in a big series against a team you're rivals with on the road. I didn't think there was a place for that. I think that's what the midweeks are for. But at the same time, like, if somebody goes down, and John Pearson's probably going to start next year. I get it. And I'm not the coach, right? I'm not going to sit here and question Jay Johnson. Jay Johnson's a great baseball coach. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. But, yeah, I think we 100% do see Josh Pearson this weekend, and I'll be upset if we don't because, and I would love to see Jake Brown out there too. I know they're kind of going to decide on if we, want whoever in right field, him or Brown, but I wouldn't mind. It's just, it sucks because you want to put Fry in, but then you got Jake Brown, you got Larson, because Larson came this weekend and he played pretty well. He got out in that final game. But that's a tough position to be in for him. We just have a lot of bats, but I guess to answer your question, I do think we'll see Pearson this weekend. It's a big-time series, and I think that's exactly who we want. I don't know if we'll see him in the outfield. I don't know if we'll see him as a designated hitter, but I think we'll see him more than we did see him in College Station. Moving on, we kind of spent a lot of time on that game, but rightfully so. That's going to be a really good baseball game, and I really am it's probably other than I was excited for Arkansas, Texas, LSU, Texas. A&M, Texas, I was very excited for. LSU, Tennessee. Arkansas, LSU is right up there with it. It's going to be a really good baseball series. Both programs have a lot of history. Man, I'm excited, but let's move on now. We got another interesting game, in my opinion. Florida versus number 1 UT. Who do you think takes this one?
I got Florida. Florida 2-1. I think Texas, their bats just aren't good. I know they have great pitching. I think here we start to see the downfall of Schloss. You got a guy who, a great coach, no discredit to him, but there's adjustments he needs to make with the bats and with the lineup that I haven't seen him make. And I think Kevin O'Sullivan's a great coach. I got the Gators coming down to Austin, taking 2-1.
And is it crazy to say I agree with you? I was going to say the same thing. It doesn't. I hate to we've agreed on so many games today, but dude, I could so see it. I feel like it's something in the air. I could so see the Gators pulling off something crazy in winning this weekend. What did they win? What was it last week? 22-3 or whatever. They're scoring a lot of runs, and Texas's ace pitcher is out for the season. He's gone. Ruger Riojas got shelled against Arkansas. Ruger's a great pitcher, but man, Florida's beat Arkansas. They beat Arkansas, and they looked really good against Arkansas. It could happen, and Florida's in the same position as A&M. So it's I'm with you, man. And I don't know, is the game at Florida or Texas? I think it's at
I think it's.
Florida.
I thought it was in Texas.
It could be at Texas. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't look.
in Austin.
Well, I'm going to be
yeah,
honest. That potato, there's no home field advantage when it comes to UT. You guys can go ahead and get mad at me for saying that. I was at a Texas LSU game. That crowd is – you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. I'm going to be so honest.
I agree with you there. But I also just think that it's not because Texas has been, like, I guess, dropped that series and I think they're falling off. I just don't think they can hit against Florida. Like, I don't think they can keep or get their bats going to the level that Florida's hitting. You know what I mean? Like, the game,
yeah,
22 runs against South Carolina, and South Carolina not great, but 22 runs against anybody's good. And, Shelton's hitting great for Florida.
Shelton, man, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, that was one of my guys to be like a Golden Spikes. And I know he's not to that level yet. I mean, he could be, but I mean, Shelton's a great ball player. Last year in Omaha, Shelton looked great. He almost played as good as Cags did, Yeah. I mean, Shelton's a good ball player. So, like, but then again, UT's got a great bullpen. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Arkansas shelled that UT bullpen, and then Texas losing Jared Spencer really hurts them. But I'm right there with you, man. I mean, it's a lot better pitching than Florida has faced. But, man, dude, I can so see it. I think that'll be an upset of the week. And honestly, like, if Florida beats Texas, then that makes this Arkansas-LSU matchup that much bigger because it's like, then who's going to win the SEC? Because Texas is no longer the clear-cut favorite to win the SEC. They no longer have 2 losses. They now have 5 losses. I mean, dude, we could see some – this weekend, if Florida beats Texas, especially if they did something crazy and swept Texas, the SEC just became an open book. Like, it could be anybody's. So, and I 100% am pulling for Florida this week, and I hope they do it. I'd be damned if I let Texas win the SEC their first year being in the conference. So, give me the Gators. I'm with you there, 2 out of 3. Call us crazy, folks, but chomp, chomp, baby. Chomp, chomp. Moving on. Number 24, Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Before we get into this, Mississippi State just fired their coach. So I don't know what's in the future for this team, like as far as the rest of the season goes. But playing without your coach, I mean, I'm sure the players weren't happy with that decision. And also, before we get in, what was your thoughts on that? I mean, I honestly feel like it was warranted. I mean, he did win him a championship, but you're Mississippi State, you're a top 10 program in the country, and you haven't been able to make it to the postseason like 3 of the past like 4 seasons or whatever it is. Like, they went one year and they got bounced out, but other than that, Mississippi State's really struggled. So, I mean, I kind of think it was time for a change.
Yeah, you said it well. They won it in 2021, and they really haven't been there since, or even before that. They kind of like were just up and down. And what, they fired him at 7-14 something. I mean, they I think it was, yeah, they were 7-14 when they fired him. And I don't mind the decision. I think it's just kind of weird to do it middle of the year, especially because they are a team in the field. I mean, they're projected in the field as a 3 seed.
Yeah, I don't understand why you don't wait till the end of the season. Like South Carolina waited till after the season last year. Like, and I know there was talks of him being fired all year, and they waited till after. I mean, as far as like, dude, man, why not stick with the coach that's won you a championship before? Like, stick with him at least for the end of the season. But like, I agree with the move. It's just I'm right there with you. Well, why are you doing it now? I mean, I don't know. And I think Coach Lemonis is going to find somewhere to coach at, and I think I don't think his coaching career is over unless he wants it to be. Because like, if you're a mid-major school and you see a coach like that, why would you not go for him, right? Like, I don't know. I agree with you though. I thought it was early, but I did agree with the decision. But, to answer that, I think Ole Miss sweeps this weekend just because, like, playing without your coach, I get it's a rivalry baseball game. I mean, maybe Mississippi State's motivated. I don't know. But give me the Rebs.
Yeah, I think Mississippi State takes the first game due to pure motivation of, like, hey, let's go win without our coach. And then Ole Miss kind of they're the better team. I think they work them in those next two.
And Pico Khan, I mean, is their ace pitcher, Mississippi State's, and he's a great pitcher. I mean, they could win that first game. But other than that, like I just don't see them winning it all this series. Moving on, Louisville, Georgia Tech. This will be interesting. I think both of them are kind of in similar situations. They're both solidified themselves in the tournament. Louisville more than Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech really needs to get right back on track. Who do you think wins this series?
I think it's Louisville. I hate Georgia Tech. They suck. I've never seen Georgia Tech play good baseball. Like I'm sure they have put together a few good games. They're projected a 2 seed. I don't know how. I don't know who made these projections. D1 baseball. I don't know who works there. But I'm looking at a projection for regional right now. They'd be playing Northeastern. I think Northeastern would kill them 10-0. Like I don't understand Georgia Tech. Like
they hit the ball really well. Like they're a scrappy baseball team and they hit the ball, man. Like
I don't get any hype for them. I don't understand.
You sound like me talking about Southern Miss right now. I mean,
Georgia Tech, that's my hated team. They're my Southern Miss.
Look, man, there's nothing wrong with hating a team, but man, give me the Yellow Jackets this weekend against Louisville. I think they win the series. Dude, I kind of like this Georgia Tech baseball team. I really do. And I think they can make something shake in the postseason as well. Obviously, we have completely different stances, but I think Georgia Tech
is not beating an SEC team. If they get matched up against, Arizona or somebody, they could beat them. They are not beating an SEC team. There's no way. I don't think they would beat Missouri, obviously. But every other team in the SEC, I think, is better than Georgia Tech.
Not South Carolina. Dude, Georgia Tech, I agree with you to a certain extent. Like, the SEC is miles ahead of the ACC, everybody. But, dude, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, Georgia Tech's not bad. They're not bad at all. Like, them and like Mississippi State would be a great series. I think they could beat Mississippi State though. Like I think they're a step up from the bottom barrel of the SEC, but yeah, I don't think they're a top team in the SEC or anything. Yeah, no. But I think they're a good baseball team. I do.
They're all right. I'm still backing Louisville in the series. I mean, you said they could hit. They have some good hitting stats. They might be able to steal a game, but I'm never backing the Jackets in a series. So give me the Cardinals.
All right, moving on to number 4 North Carolina, number 16 NC State. Got a top 20 matchup. Honestly, a big ACC matchup. I mean, we're getting close to postseason to where seeding and all that's really starting to feel real. I mean, we're starting to get my favorite time of the year, postseason baseball. Rivalry game, in-state matchup. Who do you think takes this series?
Well, it is at NC State. I think that's going to play a little bit of a factor. UNC is projected 1 seed. They're projected to host. They're actually projected to double host right now still, which I think is a little high on them. But NC State, I guess hadn't been too good recently. I know they lost those 2 to Miami. But I'm going to take them to win the series 2-1 here. I think it's honestly just the home field. But UNC, yeah, I was high, then I was low, and I had belief in them, and now I'm just back to low on them. I don't know. I'm gonna take the Wolfpack 2-1 against the Tar Heels.
I mean, look, man, NC State, they've had their moments this season. They beat Clemson. They've looked really good in some series, but man, North Carolina, like you said, we've been high and then low. I mean, they had a rough start when they lost to Stanford in the ACC, but other than that, man, they've kind of put their head down and they've really shown the team that I think that they've always had. And so I think they 100% win this series. I don't know about sweep, but man, this Tar Heel team is no joke. They can hit the ball, they can pitch the ball. I think they're the best team in the ACC, honestly. So yeah, give me the Tar Heels. 2 out of 3. A sweep would be crazy, but it's not off brand to them to do. So yeah, give me North Carolina here. Moving on, we got Miami versus Virginia. Virginia's kind of a team trying to play to get in the tournament on the bubble. Miami, I guess, was on the bubble. Not really anymore. I think they've kind of knocked themselves in as a 2 seed unless they just like did something crazy, got like swept this weekend and next weekend. And then like, even then I still think they're in. What do you think?
Yeah, Miami's definitely the better team. I'm going to take the Virginia. I'm going to take them 2-1. They're playing for something. I think D1 baseball has them in the first 4 out. So, they definitely have a chance to make the tournament. And, picking up a series win here probably moves them ahead of Notre Dame.
Also, let's talk about that. They were preseason number 2.
Yeah. I know it's a huge fall off.
And now they are first 4 out. I mean, that's crazy to me. To all you Virginia fans out there, that's all they talked about on Twitter was hype up this team, all these returning players. Oh, they're motivated. I didn't see any motivation out of this team. I'm going to be really honest. And now it's time to get in crunch time, and then you're about to get swept by Miami. Yeah, I said it. Miami's going to sweep them. Virginia's not making the tournament this year. Yeah, I'm saying it right now.
They're making the tournament, dude. They're going to win these. They're going to win 2 at Miami or at home against Miami, and then they go to Blacksburg to play Virginia Tech in a rivalry. Virginia Tech's terrible. Give me Virginia. Give me Virginia finishing the season 5-1.
Yeah, they might beat Virginia Tech, but they're not beating Miami. Miami's playing good baseball right now, dude. I think Miami is going to go in there, and I think they're going to take 2 out of 3, maybe even sweep, dude. Miami is really like they're kind of in the same boat I'd put as A&M. Like they're playing good baseball right now. So yeah, give me the Hurricanes. They're gonna make something. They're gonna make something shake this weekend, and they're gonna send those whatever Virginia is back home, dude. God, I'm not a Virginia baseball guy either, as you can tell, because that's all we heard about in the offseason. All we heard about from Virginia fans was how great this team is. Oh, how great our coach is. Like this and that and this and that. And now you're in the first 4 out and you're about to lose to Miami. I mean, obviously they could win, but yeah, I don't think they make the tournament. I hope they don't, honestly, just for the sake of Twitter. I mean, and if they do make the tournament, they're not making it past regionals. I mean, bring them on. I hope they get put in Baton Rouge. I hope we play Virginia.
All right. Well, last thing real quick before we wrap it up. A question for you is if you're picking a team right now, you're betting on a team, or whoever you're most confident in to win the entire thing, to win the College World Series, but it can't be LSU, it can't be Arkansas, who are you taking?
Man, it's hard because, dude, you've got teams that are playing really good, and then it's so streaky. I think if Tennessee can get back on pace, I think they could. I think you could have, honestly, a team like Auburn. I mean, like they're playing really good baseball right now. I know they got swept by UT several weeks ago, but I mean, honestly, it'd be really hard for me to give you an answer to that because, like, dude, you've got all these teams that are like playing hot and then not, and then like, I mean, dude, honestly, bro, a team like Florida could do something crazy here right now. Honestly, I will say this though. I would bet my life savings that it is an SEC team.
What do you think about Texas A&M?
I think they could go to Omaha. And I mean, maybe they could win it. Maybe they could, but dude, man, I don't know.
They look good in big series. Well, they actually don't. They don't look good in big series, but they find ways to win, which is surprising to me because they have such a firepower offense that hadn't produced, but then they still win these big series. So I question sometimes how they win games. But they seem to find a way to get it done. So I'm interested to see how that team kind of plays in the postseason and finishes out their year. But I agree with you. I think SEC, 95% chance, maybe even more than that, maybe 99% chance wins the whole thing this year.
I mean, yeah, in A&M, though, I wouldn't count them out. But a lot of it depends on where they get put because they're not going to host. So if they get put in as a 2 or 3 seed, which that is going to take into play, I'd almost rather be a 3 seed and get put into a a smaller, like I'd rather get into like, that 9 through 16 slot versus you get stuck going to, Chapel Hill. Or, I mean, LSU got stuck going to Chapel Hill last year and they almost pulled it off. But, I mean, it was just that home field crowd was nuts. And that does play a big factor, So I'd rather go to, on the road to a team like, UC Irvine. Like if UC Irvine or I mean, I know West Virginia is like, well, here's the thing. We don't know how good West Virginia really is because they haven't played anybody, but their record's great. You know what I mean? They're 39-7. I mean, that's the best record in baseball. I mean, you know what I mean? We have no idea how good West Virginia is. What if they're just that good and no one's talking about them because they haven't played anybody? Playing Kansas and TCU every week just isn't preparing you for postseason baseball, right? That's another team we could throw in there, but I mean, the SEC level, I don't know. But yeah, I think A&M, I think they need to be. I mean, they could be a 2 seed and be fine, but I'd much rather be in a position where I'm playing like at Coastal Carolina or UC Irvine than have to go play in Austin or. I mean, imagine y'all go to Austin.
I like our chances there, but I know we get swept by them, but I like our chances though. So.
I mean, dude, look, y'all could beat them. It's hard to beat a team. I mean, it's hard to sweep them, but 4 times would be crazy. I don't know. Who do you think if you can't say A&M?
I like LSU. I told you I can't put them in the question because you're a fan, but that's who I would take.
That's me too. If I didn't say LSU, I'd say Arkansas, but you took out those 2 teams. So
yeah, if we cut LSU too, I think it's the Vols. I think those are my top 4 teams. Even putting A&M in the mix is Tennessee, LSU, and Arkansas.
And I'll tell you what, I got a hot take for you. I don't think Oregon is going to make it to Omaha. I know they're a 5 seed, but they're playing in the Big Ten. They're not playing anybody. I'd say a team like UCLA has a better shot of making it to Omaha than they do. I mean, they just got a deep pitching staff. I think Oregon, the style of ball play they play, that hit it out of the park, get hits. Yeah, a lot of teams do it, but they don't have the pitching to play against, a Tennessee team or an LSU or Arkansas. You know what I mean? So, like, even then, if A&M got put in Eugene as a 2 seed, I think they win that series. I think A&M would win that regional. So, or super, whatever they played Oregon. Like, I don't think Oregon's going to go to Omaha. I think they're fraudulent.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously we will have a whole episode where we break down the tournament whenever all that comes. And I'm excited. After this weekend, we got another weekend of baseball, and then after that, it's conference tournament time. So that'll be a lot of fun. But any closing remarks or anything you have to say?
No, that's it. I'm just hoping A&M pulls off the 3-0 and we're not the talk of Twitter as Missouri gets their first SEC win.
Oh, my God. If you guys lose to Missouri, Twitter will not be in y'all's favor. I'll tell you what, I might be involved in that. But, all right, man. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for tuning in. Big weekend of baseball, as you guys can see. We're starting. It's crunch time now. All right, so peace out.
Yeah.